So I've decided to do something a little different. This is actually going to go up on my channel because I believe this is a video that I can contribute to the D&D community, because I have been DMing online with the 4-Leaf Clovers for a while now. I've also do private DMing for my mates in games, and also on top of that I actually do DMing for a local store. So I'm just going to give them a shout out right now. There is a store in Bexley Heath called the Movie Shack. They've had my books in there for a few months now, but also I do art lessons every couple of Sundays, including a D&D session straight after when I have lunch. So if you do want to check out a local geek store and support your local business, please go to the Movie Shack. They are an awesome lot, really friendly people, and without them, I've actually blown up a little more with VTLS in the local area. So thank you so much. It is such an honor to do stuff like this and helping to promote my stuff, and at the same time do stuff that I really love, and it has been an eye-opener for me. So to thank the Movie Shack and to do something a little bit different on my channel, I'm gonna do a beginner's guide to D&D as a player. So why am I doing this, you ask? Since I've now got a little bit more experience as a DM, I feel like I can throw my hand to the ring of how you can start. There is so many videos out there to tell you how to play, how to start, how blah blah blah, but I don't feel like they, in a way, haven't gotten down to the nitty-gritty. Prove me wrong, send the link of the video down below if you do know a YouTuber that has done something like I have, but please hold on to the end of the video and throw your 2 cents. I do like to hear other people's opinion. As someone who's only been a DM for like 2 or 3 years now, it's good to hear some voices of experience and actually listen to you guys, because again, that's what Dungeons & Dragons is all about, is chatting to DM to DM, to player, or everywhere all around. So feel free. Anyways, so to start off, D&D I know can be an overwhelming game to start. I know it can be for players to look at Dungeons & Dragons and go, where do I start? And feel really intimidated by the amount of books they have and the amount of editions and stuff like that. Like, you wouldn't know where to start usually. Normally, if you go to a local store or something, they do help you out if they do have general knowledge of D&D. But I thought this might help. So to start off your D&D journey, if you just want to be a player and never be a DM, the book I always recommend is the Player's Handbook. This is 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons, which is the current edition, and I do recommend this book for everyone. This has all the basic rules. It has basic races, basic classes, subclasses. It gives you all the lowdown of all the basic rules you need. This is something that this is your player's best friend. This is the book that will take you through pretty much nearly every campaign that you will ever play, because a lot of people who start out do buy this book. So, and if you want to start D&D and you haven't got any real life friends or online friends, because I know people have told me this in the past when I've been to cons and that, you could go to your local geek store, and when you come in to play D&D, make sure you do have one of these. You can get these on Amazon, you can get these in your local geek store to support your businesses. Like, literally, you can get this pretty much anywhere that might be a bookshop, usually, or normally in a geek store like Movie Shack, or any, like H&V has become a pop culture store recently, or the newsstand Comics and Candy. I think they might be starting to do D&D stuff now. James, please correct me in the comments if you don't. I know a store owner myself, and he's a pretty lovely bloke, so please get one of these. It has classes, it has races, again, the basic rules, how to level up, how to make your character. Everything in here teaches you about every little thing about D&D. So this is my huge recommendation if you want to start playing D&D. And please get your copy of the book, because in my next part, which is how to be a good player, this will come into play a lot. So, Player's Handbook. Next part, obviously, is the humble dice. This is what you need to play D&D, not just this one, but multiple other dice. But this little die is called the D20. The D20 is a 20-sided dice. If anyone doesn't know what I mean by D20, I know some people would usually get it, but for those who don't know, D20 is a slang term for 20-sided dice. Oh, die, I should say. You can get a pack of D&D dice on Amazon or any other good geek store. Normally these dice do come with a set of other dice. When you get a D6, D4, you'll need all those dice to play. I'd recommend picking up 2 sets of D&D dice. Just like, again, type it in on Amazon. You can find these anywhere online. Start with a basic set. Don't go nuts and buy the most expensive or metal dice or whatever. Just get 2 basic D&D dice. You know, you can probably get them for about, I would say, a $5 on Amazon with a nice little dice bag, or get a nice set of 5 for cheap. So get yourself a pair of this and you'll be ready to go. Now, the last thing, now this is the most important thing, and I know a lot of new players do not do this, and this is cheap as goddamn chips. Get yourself a notebook. This is the absolute, again, all 3 of these things are your player's best friend. Is the dice, the player's handbook, the notebook. Now, the reason why you need a notebook is, one, you need to take notes of anything important that happens, like character important to your character, or important NPCs, or shopkeepers and stuff like that. Like, you will need that book to write down every little note, which will also lead you into how to be a good player. And also remember, the DM is only human and he will forget things, like, quite quickly. So this would be a great way to help your DM out. So hopefully this has been a little bit helpful. Now, for those, I will not leave the Dungeon Masters out. I was saving the Dungeon Masters to last, because if you like D&D and you played it for a bit and you think, Joe, what? Yeah, I want to try and DM. I want to create my own world, or I want to run a campaign like Curse of Strahd or whatever. There's a couple things you will definitely need before jumping and making a campaign. The first of which is always a DM's best friend, is called The Dungeon Master's Guide. It has a lot of things to do with dungeon mastering, like how to be a dungeon master, obviously getting to make it gods of your world, mapping a campaign, settlements. It gives you every little detail of how to create planes. They also give you suggestion of planes they've got in canon with the D&D 5e. There's lots of helpful tips and advice and creating non-player characters and that for the DM. The second book I would recommend is the Monsters Manual. This is what you call the Trinity of Three, which I would say. The Player's Handbook will also be handy for DMs because they've got the basic rules in there. But these, if you want to be a DM, these are the 2 books you want. The Dungeon Master's Guide and the Monster Manual. As it says on the book, it is an absolute manual of lots of different monsters, their stats, creatures, humanoid creatures, anything you can think of creature-wise. It's probably in this book in some capacity. Like, I've just flipped over to the gargoyle here. So the light is like really shining on it, but yeah, it's got like stuff like that, the beholders, the classic beholder, the dragons, and like say creatures, zombies, flying creatures, and they got some really like out there creatures in there. Like, you're going through the book and you can really come up with some ideas with good encounters and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my recommendations. This is how you get started in D&D. Now, if you do want to try out being a DM without getting the Dungeon Master's Guide or the Monster Manual, get one of the starter sets. That will give you a very brief introductions into DMing without paying out for the books. Now, the ones I recommend is the main 3 from Dungeons & Dragons, which is the one with the Mines of Pandaria on it, which is the starter set. The Essentials kit, which has, which I've got right now, does have a campaign which links into the Valadan campaign, which is quite weird actually. It's not link, but it's set in the same area. And then you've got the new one, which I haven't got, which it's another starter set, which has another mini campaign in it. It has everything you need, like the monsters in the campaign, the maps, and everything you will need to start that. So feel free to obviously dig your claws into that. I'll get out the Essentials kit now. I won't open it up because it's got different stuff in it. Oh, I've got it upside down. There we go. The Essentials kit is one that this I do highly recommend out the 3. And if you can get the Mines of Fandera one, which is the old starter kit with the picture of the green dragon on it, you'll be in for a good time. But starter kits like this can give you really good simplified introductions into D&D and stuff like that. But like I say, the 3 main Trinity things as a player you'll need is, again, the player's handbook, 2 sets of Dungeons and Dragons dice, which should contain D20 and all other die, and the and the notebook. That's all you need. If you want to go with Dungeon Master, go with the Monster Manual and the Dungeon Master's Guide. If you want a good starter kit so you can have a feel for Dungeons and Dragons, see if you like it or not, go with the Essentials kit. It gives you a very basic introduction before you shell out money and stuff like that. Anyways, guys, I hope this all helps. Movie Shack, I hope this video helps for your newer players who want to come into the store and try out Dungeons and Dragons. On my next video, I will be talking about how to be a good player. See you around.